television can make you feel a scene as well as hear and see it, your face would be numb now. Your feet would be stinging from the water inside your shoes, and your hands would be raw from the icy wind. You're looking at scenes of what was the coldest weekend in recorded history in Chicago. This was the weekend it reached 26 degrees below zero. On the skin of firemen, it felt like 81 below. But they had a job to do on Wells Street. Some flammable material stored in a furniture-making shop had ignited. It set off a blaze that engulfed several 3-flats and an automobile warehouse. The fire began before breakfast. Firemen were still there at lunchtime. But for many, the day wasn't over yet. A fire broke out in Washtenaw Street that evening. Local residents say a man was trying to thaw out his pipes when his house caught fire. Soon, the wind had whipped flames to 13 other houses.
The fire department, I think, has performed its whole year's pay in this one day.
2 children in fair condition and 1 male in fair to serious condition. Okay, fine, thank you.
Lieutenant Duke Snyder would agree with the mayor about that day. He was at the Wells Street fire for 7 hours, the Washtenaw for 6. Fire and ice and wind combined to make a powerful enemy that day.
The wind was a big factor. Most of the fires, the 2 big ones that we had, with the wind factor involved, most of the fire streams were almost useless. As soon as you put them on the fire, the 40, 50-mile-an-hour wind was just blowing them right away.
Street and Washtenaw fires, the temperature was 24 below. But things were fairly quiet this night at Engine Company 112. Duke Snyder had thawed out from the week before.
I had frostbite, yeah, to my face, which I never had before, ever. And I never really knew I had it until somebody said, well, geez, your cheeks are all white.
Some of the clothing the firemen wear is standard, the hat, the coats, the boots. But after that, they keep warm the best they can. One fireman said, you just dress like you're going ice skating. Ski masks help. So can cocoa butter on the face or newspapers in the boots. Snyder's boss, Deputy District Chief Robert Hanley.
The old trick of the mittens, being able to keep your fingers are keeping each other warm in a pair of mittens where you normally would wear a pair of gloves.
So far, nobody has ever manufactured a glove that more or less withstands the water and the actual cold, from the firefighting aspect. So when they come out with this glove, I'm sure somebody's going to make $1 million.
Nobody's ever made a frost-free hydrant either. The hydrants freeze, the hoses freeze, the pumps on the engines freeze. And even if the pumps are working, could be the dials on the engine are frozen so you don't know how much you're pumping. Firemen say the water itself can be the biggest problem, with 100 to 200 gallons coming through a hose every minute. Sure, the water is putting out the fire, but, as Chief Hanley says, it's creating more ice at the same time.
If you went out to sprinkle your lawn today, on a day like today, everybody in the neighborhood would think you were crazy. And really, when you think of it, that's what we're doing. We can only on a bigger extent or a bigger nature.
Fireman Michael Williams couldn't escape the water on Washtenaw.
It was coming off the building so fast, and it was freezing up. We was like maybe had 6 to 8 inches of water that we were standing in.
Tonight we were at Engine Company 112. The engine, which is the pumping piece of equipment, never moved. Gloves and caps just lay ready. But the truck from the firehouse was out. The truck has ladders and is the rescue piece. It answered a call at an abandoned house on Marshfield. No spectacular blaze here, but it was still cold.
Frozen hydrants, frozen hoses, and exhausted men. We gotta leave. I gotta get these guys in a warm place.
Firemen work 24 hours on, 48 off. Michael Williams remembers the day after Washtenaw.
I was beat. I wasn't able to do anything for at least a day. You know, I had to go home and go right back to bed because we had been out for so long. You know, we were pretty exhausted.
Although you may be weary and cold and anything else, it's always a challenge. And as far as I'm concerned, it seems that everybody just responds to it.
You take the best with the worst. In the wintertime, it's the worst. In the summertime, when it's 100 degrees heat, it's the worst. And in between there, it's pretty nice.
Up to the weekend of the Wells and Washtenaw fires, the Chicago Fire Department had depended solely upon the city water department for blowtorches to use in frozen hydrants. But after that trying weekend, the fire department bought 50 blowtorches of its own.